I'm going to show you how to make an infographic to go with your pivot tables and your slicers. We'll start really simple. We just have male, female, and graduated yes or no. So insert a pivot table. So let's put graduated in the pivot table. We want it in both the rows and the values. And we want to graph percents. So let's make a formula of equals the yes value divided by the total. And that'll give us a percent. And let's reformat it, 2%. And now let's put a slicer in and slice on gender. So that will allow us to choose one gender at a time and see the percent changes. That's what we're going to graph, is that percent. So let's label this graduated. And then for our infographic, we need the total amount, or all, 100%. So put that there. And then go up, select it, go up to insert, and let's insert a bar chart. Okay, now click on either one of those and go to select data. And we're going to switch the row and the column because we want them to be beside each other like this. And then click on the chart, right click and go to Format Chart Area. Click back on the chart and see you get a different menu there. We want the series overlap and the gap width to be different than they are. Change the gap to 0 and change the series overlap to 100%. That puts these two on top of each other. And that's how we're going to start. Let's close this so get some room. Now we don't want our 100% on top. We want the other one on top. So let's right click, go to select data, and you can move the graduated down. Click that arrow, and we moved it down, and that puts the percent graduated on top and our 100% on the bottom, which is what we want. Now let's fix the x-axis so it goes to 100%. So right click on it and make the minimum 0, even though it already was, because we don't want it to be automatically changing. And make the maximum 1. Okay, now it'll stay. Let's get rid of some of the clutter. Get the x-axis off. Take the title off. And let's take the y-axis off. I put the chart and the slicer on a different page from the pivot table. And now we're going to make things look better and make our infographic. And see how the chart responds to the slicer. Let's make this look a little bit better. Let's go to Insert Shapes and get a rectangle with rounded edges. It'll just look nicer. And we are going to make that a different color. So let's find their shape fill. Oh boy, there. That looks good. Then copy and then select the blue part of that graph and paste. And now let's do the same with the orange. Copy it so it'll be the same size. You can pull it a little bigger and get the color you want. There's our background. We took the outlines off. And now let's get the grid lines off. Just right click when you're on the graph. And then the top little plus, uncheck the grid lines so we don't have a line there. Okay, blow it up so we can see better. Let's put data labels in. So right click and let's check the data labels box. And we don't want that 100%. We just want the other one. And where should we put them? We want it at the base. Let's go inside the base and put them both there. Turn it white so you can see it. And let's move that 100 off and delete it. And let's bold that and make a more infographic-y font. Let me change it to something else. I'll use Montserrat. Make it bigger. And this part was easy. And now we're going to make it a little bit fancier. Well, let's clean this up a little. Okay, we're going to put an icon on our chart and maybe I'll clean this up later. But to get an icon on our chart, so it looks like an infographic, let's label icon and connect it to what's driving the chart there back on the pivot table, what is currently the 64%. Then it'll be dynamic. So we want to add that to our graph. So right click on the graph and add the series name is icon, and then we want the series value to be what's in that cell there. And that's going to add this to our graph. It's not going to look right at first, but don't worry. We'll fix it. Okay, it's now added the icon that is the same as the graduation rate, and we're going to change the series type. So you right click, change the series type, and we only want to change the icon. We're going to change it to a scatter plot so it'll be a dot. And see, it puts the dot there on the right hand side because the left hand side is already taken. And now we're going to change that dot to a graduation cap, which will be our icon, and then we're going to move it to where we want it to be. Now right click on the new y-axis there and format axis. We're just going to set it. Click there to make sure you get this menu. It's automatically on 0, but reset it to 0 and 1 so that the axis doesn't jump around as the numbers change. And then we don't need the axis, we can take it off. And now we're going to control where the X and Y are to put that in the middle. Okay, now we need to control where this scatter plot is. It's a scatter plot of 1 point. Click anywhere in your graph and then right click and select data. Now we're going to go edit that scatter plot. The name is fine. The y-axis, we want that to be what currently it's plotting there. So just copy paste and you can see that P6, that's what you could have just clicked in there. And then for the y value, we want it to be 0.5 because y value is up and down. We want it to be in the middle. And so see what that did? We just controlled it where it's going to be, that's at 80% with the y value being 0.5. It's not exactly where we want it, but we'll be able to adjust. And now we're going to go get an icon. And you know, we can paste any shape or icon to be a graph. So let's see if they have anything for graduation. Let's take that see-through graduation cap. And we're going to put it on blue. So we want it to be white outline. So go up to the graphics format. And, well, that didn't do it for us. Let's fill it with white. And now you can't see it, but it's there. Copy and click on your dot and paste. And now we just need to move it a little bit, and we were making that exactly the same. Let's just guess, minus 0.07, and see where that puts it. That puts it in the blue. And then see how now it's dynamic and moves. We'll get rid of that label. And if you're making a dashboard with this, get rid of your grid lines, make things look nice. And there you have it.